Anthony was baptized by proxy in the Logan Temple 20 October 1885 and endowed there 27 January 1888. His wife Mary was baptized in the Logan Temple 8 September 1885 and endowed there 20 November 1885. They were sealed as a couple for time and eternity in the Logan Temple 20 November 1885. Some of their children were sealed in the Salt Lake Temple 30 May 1901. We believe the parents of Anthony to be John Stevenson, christened 26 December 1606, and Dorothy Stevenson, born about 1610. We believe the parents of John Stevenson, born 1606, to be William Stevenson, born about 1574, who married Isabel Worthington, born about 1578. My researcher at Leicester, England, Pat Mall, under date of 15 April 1964, wrote as follows. It was as I suspected that the Stevensons were final of South Crotian. I am enclosing all I have found in Crotian, as otherwise nothing will make sense. The registers and transcripts are so incomplete, with great gaps swallowing whole generations, that I am enclosing will abstracts and other information which will help you to build up families only partially found or not found at all in the parish records, with which I am afraid nothing further can be done. Included in her report is a very important will of Elizabeth Worthington of Twyford, Leicestershire, dated 1612, in which she mentions Isabel Stevenson, my daughter, deceased, and her children, Thomas, Mary, Elizabeth, Ellen, and John, the last to have my clothes in South Crotian. My son-in-law, William Stevenson. We believe the parents of William Stevenson, born 1574, to be Thomas Stevenson, born about 1542. His father is believed to be Henry Stevenson, born about 1510, all at South Crotian.
Our common progenitors, Joseph Stevenson, born 1787, and Elizabeth Stevens, born 1792, are the beginning point of our Stevenson family association. They were the proud parents of 7 children. Their first child, William Stevenson, was born at London, June 10, 1813, and died December 17, 1840, unmarried. His baptism by proxy was done in the Endowment House, January 11, 1871, and he was endowed in the Logan Temple 3 September 1885.
Their second child, Joseph Stevenson, was born March 11, 1815, also at London, and we believe both were christened in St. Paul's Cathedral, but the records were destroyed. He was baptized by proxy in the Logan Temple 8 September 1885 and endowed there 15 October 1885. He married Esther Broomfield Boone October 20, 1841 at Cincinnati, Hamilton County, Ohio. He died 14 December 1884, age 69, at Glendale, Hamilton County, Ohio. Their third child, Henry D., was born 11 September 1817 at Gibraltar and was christened in the Methodist Church 8 July 1823. He married Elizabeth Hand 10 May 1849 at Cincinnati, Ohio, and was baptized by proxy in the Endowment House 11 January 1871 and endowed in the Logan Temple 14 October 1885. He died 21 May 1868, age 50, at Cincinnati. Their fourth child, Edward Stevenson, who is ancestor to most of us, was born 1 May 1820 at Gibraltar and christened in the Methodist Church 8 July 1823. He married Nancy Areta Porter, 7 April 1845, at Nauvoo, Hancock County, Illinois. Nancy bore him 5 children. Edward was baptized as a convert to the church 20 December 1833 at Pontiac, Michigan, and was endowed in the Nauvoo Temple 2 February 1846. Nancy Areta Porter was baptized in 1833 or 1834, and was also endowed at Nauvoo 2 February 1846. They were sealed for time and eternity in Utah at her home 23 February 1852. So their first 3 children were not born in the covenant and were sealed 1 June 1965 in the Salt Lake Temple. Their last 2 children were born in the covenant. Edward's second wife was Nancy's sister, Sarah Porter, sealed 6 September 1852 at Salt Lake City. They had no children. Edward's third wife was Elizabeth Jane Dufresne. They were married and sealed 28 October 1855 at Salt Lake City. The sealing was in the President's office. She bore him 9 children. Edward's fourth wife was Emily Electa Williams. They were married and sealed in the President's office 20 April 1857. She bore him 11 children. Edward's fifth wife was Mary Ann Dufresne, a sister to Edward's third wife. They were married and sealed 11 January 1871 in the Endowment House. They had no children. Edward's sixth wife was Elizabeth Ramon. They were married and sealed 11 January 1871 in the Endowment House. They had no children. Edward's seventh wife was Louisa Yates. They were married and sealed in the Endowment House 16 December 1872. She bore him 3 children. Edward's eighth wife was Louisa Yates' half-sister, Sarah Yates. They were sealed 31 January 1889 in the Manti Temple. Sarah was born 17 September 1812 at Claverton, Somersetshire, England. They had no children. The fifth child of Joseph and Elizabeth Stevenson was named Elizabeth. She was born 11 February 1823 at Gibraltar and christened 8 July 1823 in the Methodist Church. She married Job T. Bailey 29 June 1845 at Charleston, Lee County, Iowa. She bore him 2 children. Elizabeth married second, 13 October 1850 at Salt Lake City, Richard Smith Norwood, by whom she had 6 children. Elizabeth died October 3, 1878, aged 55, at Porterville, Morgan County, Utah, and was buried there October 5th. She was baptized in life as a convert to the church in the spring of 1836 in Missouri, and was endowed in the President's office 23 July 1852, and was sealed to Richard Smith Norwood 13 October 1850, and again in the Endowment House 3 January 1858. The sixth child of Joseph and Elizabeth Stevenson was named Mary. She was born 29 August 1825 at Gibraltar, and christened 19 September 1825 in the Methodist Church. She married Ezra Thompson Clark May 18, 1845 at Clark Settlement in Lee County, Iowa. She bore him 11 children. Mary was also a convert to the church in March of 1836. She was endowed in the Nauvoo Temple 1 January 1846 and sealed to Ezra Thompson Clark in the Nauvoo Temple 6 February 1846. She died November 24, 1911, age 86, at Farmington, Davis County, Utah, and was buried there November 28th. The seventh and last child of Joseph and Elizabeth Stevenson was named James. He was born 12 August 1830 at Albany, Albany County, New York.
He was married and sealed to Sarah Elnora White, in Salt Lake City, 5 November 1852. She bore him 11 children. James was also a convert to the church in Missouri, being baptized in the summer of 1838. He was endowed the day of his marriage, 5 November 1852, in Salt Lake City. He died March 29, 1916, age 85, at Farmington, Davis County, Utah, and was buried there March 31st. The total posterity of Joseph Stevenson and Elizabeth Stevens, according to our Master Stevenson Family Organization records, show
7 children, 69 grandchildren, 315 great-grandchildren, 867 second-great-grandchildren, 2,601 third-great-grandchildren, 1,164 fourth-great-grandchildren, for a total posterity of 5,027. There have been 2,318 spouses of children, grandchildren, etc., making a total posterity, including spouses, of 7,344. The family of Joseph and Elizabeth Stevenson were greatly impressed by the visit of the prophet Joseph Smith, the 3 witnesses, and the patriarch of the church to their area in Pontiac, Michigan, in October of 1834. The prophet Joseph writes of this experience in the history of the church as follows: "Having accomplished all that could be done at present, on the 16th of the month, in company with my brother Hiram Smith and elders David Whitmer, Frederick G. Williams, Oliver Cowdery, and Robert Orton, left Kirtland for the purpose of visiting some saints in the state of Michigan, where after a tolerably pleasant journey we arrived at Pontiac on the 20th. After preaching and teaching the saints in Michigan as long as our time would allow, we returned to Kirtland, greatly refreshed from our journey, and much pleased with our friends in that section of the Lord's vineyard." Edward Stevenson's testimony of that experience is typical for the mother and their last 4 children who joined the church. Edward says, "I recollect that the prophet Joseph Smith at my mother's house in 1834, while dining with us, said, 'There are thousands of the children of Ephraim in Europe waiting for the gospel. And now we will test the prophet's words, for I felt the weight of his many good words, and witnessed the influence and inspiration attending them, although I was then only 1 year old in the church, and felt as though we were highly honored by entertaining a prophet of God, who had stood in the presence of God the Father and Jesus Christ, his only begotten, in that way, upon this earth. And while we heard him tell in his plain, simple way about this open vision, and also of the visit of Moroni the angel to him, I had a testimony of the truth, for the Spirit of God witnessed, and the Holy Ghost sealed upon me his truthful words. And as I expect this history will be handed down to my sons, daughters, grand and great-great-grandchildren, and perhaps will be sought after by others, I wish here to leave written and seal my testimony, God and angels bearing my witness."
As descendants of these fine and faithful people, let us remember their strong, wonderful qualities, and try to live our lives to make them proud of us.